Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the program. Today we are going to talk about a rather serious topic, the future. What does the future hold? Today we are going to make some predictions. Maybe someday man will look back on such predictions.
Remember, this is what we wanted. Remember, this is what we said. To never be heard or seen from again. Remember, this is what we wanted. Remember, this is what we said. To never be heard or seen from again.
Hello, and welcome to the future of beer. Tonight, we have a very special episode where we gaze into the future and see what it foretells about this industry that we all know and love. We've assembled some of the greatest seers, precogs, if you will, in the known history of man. Some of them we had to bring back to life just for this episode. So I will start by introducing my co-seer, and some would say a host.
Yep, that's what a lot of people say.
Mike Strange.
Mike Strange.
Strange Mike.
Strange Mike.
MD,
right.
a.k.a. Dr. Strange Mike.
I went to Strange Medical School.
Yes. How are you, Strange
Great.
Mike?
Great. Looking forward to the future.
Yes.
Yeah.
I only look forward. The past is prologue, as a wise man once said.
Yes, a wise but deplorable man once said.
Mm-hmm. So, we talk about a lot about what happens, what has happened, but now we're going to tell everyone out there what will happen.
Exactly what will happen.
Yeah.
With 100% accuracy.
Right. Because what's the point of listening to a show that tells you about what already happened? Just listen to our show, and then
happened.
You don't have to listen to that other show in 2 weeks.
You don't even have to listen to
in a year,
any of our shows ever again.
Right. Just listen to this show.
You can finally stop listening.
And then you can stop listening.
Yeah.
Forever.
We know what we're doing.
Yeah, exactly. It's well thought out. So I've assembled some wise, sage people to look into the future. Now we employ different techniques to do it. Mm-hmm. All are fine. I don't have any bias about how you tell the future. But we're going to see who tells it best. There is a winner and a loser, and the time will tell.
Yeah.
Who those people are.
Yes, the show's always a competition.
Mm-hmm. So I will get in, I'll go in an order that may seem similar to orders I've introduced people in the past, but it's unrelated. So first...
future seniority, you could call it.
The future seniority of people.
Yeah.
So before that, I do want to thank Lumpin' Radio for having us on 105.5 WLPN. I do want to thank Serge, who for the first time was heard at the beginning of this episode.
That's right.
People have
the voice
asked
of Serge.
What the Serge sounds like. Well, now you know.
Most people didn't know he spoke the King's English, and he does. So
he does, but it's that New England accent. He's not actually English. He's got that aristocratic New England accent.
Yes, slightly rhetorical R. Just, smart.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
rich.
Educated. Faded.
How do you think we keep doing this without Serge's money?
Exactly. So.
He's faded.
We've got a lot of stuff to get into, so I'm just going to get right into it. Sitting with us at the table is none other than the famous, one of the most famous future tellers of all time, Nostradouglas. Hello. How are you, Nostradouglas?
Doing well, Chris. It's good to see you all here in the past. I can't wait to tell you about where I've been.
Good. I can't wait to hear. Although I already know, but not everyone else knows. So I'm sure they'll be looking forward to it. You know, some people were talking some smack about your ability to tell the future, Nostradouglas, and one of them is sitting just to your left. He's known as just setting that up.
Future Smack.
Future Smack. It's Future Smack.
Yeah.
It's future Shade. Don't doubt me.
Oh, wow, that's a deep concept.
Yeah.
Future light, future shade. Wow.
Exactly. But none other than the Three-Eyed Take himself, Jake. The Three-Eyed Take Jake.
Y'all heard about West Coast IPAs?
Yeah.
Yes?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
Cool.
so. Yeah. They have.
Yeah, they all. Everybody in the stands, hey, can we get one more time for West Coast IPAs?
Yeah. No.
No, they don't like it.
Oh, they didn't
Damn.
like it. I
That's
think
crazy.
that was an organic clap from
was
the other
real,
room.
yeah.
Hey,
that wasn't
yeah.
a soundbite.
That sucks.
So yeah, we've assembled the Three-Eyed Take, Nostradouglas, Strange Mike, and myself, Obichris Quinnobi,
Strange Mike MD. Thank you.
and well, yes, Dr. Strange Mike,
Right.
and myself,
Obichris
Obichris Quinnobi,
Yes,
please.
of course. Right, yes.
Yeah. Some say that name is a little forced.
You just add in syllables wherever you want.
Yeah, it's okay. But we're going to start off with changing things up a little bit. Rather than talking about what's the beer you had lately that you liked, what is the next beer that you will enjoy? Think about it.
Oh, I know.
I'm going to go with me. I'm about to enjoy another sip of it, but I've got blinders on. I'm all about the future right now. So I'm drinking the official beer of the community of the future, Jungle Boogie, because it's going to help me. It's my muse in a way. Jungle Boogie is. It helps me. It's an elixir that helps me see into the future.
It's a heady brew
It's a heady brew. So that's what I'm drinking.
in the future.
And I will enjoy it. I will continue to enjoy it, including in the future.
Nice.
Yeah. How about you, Mike?
In the future, I will enjoy a new non-alcoholic beer that's coming out in the spring called Visitor. Talk to some guys about it. It'll be a nice little crisp pills, but brewed with some NA yeast. So looking forward to that.
NA yeast.
Yeah, yeast that only makes up to like 0.5% alcohol. So
Who's making that beer?
some friends, they're starting a new company.
Oh, you can't say. It's on the
I
DL.
don't even know what the company's called. The beer's called Visitor.
Even you don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's called Visitor. It's all called Visitor.
Okay.
Look for it, Chicago.
Maybe one of the
In the
people with me
future.
will know what the company will be called.
You don't need to know.
Okay. It's on a need-to-know basis, and you know that I don't need to know.
You do not need to know.
I won't need to know
You'll know
for
when
a long
You'll
time.
know when it's time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Visitor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jake?
Well, I gotta say, I anticipate having the best beer that's ever been brewed. It's been brewed for many years, but I anticipate having it today or tomorrow. It's called Guinness,
Oh.
and I'm here to say it's the best beer ever made.
Okay. What makes you say that?
Perfect balance.
Done.
That's it. That's all I gotta say. Perfect balance.
Low alcohol, I
Yeah.
think,
Low
is
alcohol.
a
Yes,
plus.
exactly.
Is a plus.
Yes, I can have several of them without feeling too weighed down, and
Would you say it has great taste as well?
great taste
So it's
without
not as
without
filling.
not as filling.
Yeah. It's
Someone
amazing.
should use that
In the future.
as a phrase in the future. Yeah, I will have a Guinness soon, and it'll be great.
That's good. It is a great beer. I am a fan of Guinness.
Me too.
Not just my Irish heritage speaking, but it's genuinely a world-class beer, I think. last but not least, Nostradouglas, what beer will you be enjoying in the future? Preferably the near future.
Well, later into the future, this summer, I'm looking forward to enjoying probably my favorite beer that's ever been made. I think perhaps the best American-made beer that's ever graced a cork in a cage. It's going to be made for the 5th time since 2009, and that is Lost Abbey's Duck Duck Goose.
Oh.
All right.
Batch 5
Interesting.
this summer. I'll
Wow.
be enjoying.
Cool.
Okay, well, be on the lookout for that.
Exciting times.
Yeah,
The future.
the future. Future is exciting. It's so bright.
Yeah.
Well, let's get down to it. There's some tension in the air, as everyone can feel. I'm sure you guys can
That
feel it
mood
coming
music.
through the airwaves, because this is there are winners and losers when it comes to telling the future.
That's true.
So people always ask us, all of us, what do we see? And usually I charge by the minute. I've got a 1-900 number. They still exist. I have one, but
You have a
this is all
900
for
number
free.
for-
This is all for free today. So you guys are lucky.
Wow.
And yeah, so we're going to talk about the future of craft beer. We've broken it up into a couple categories, and we'll bounce around a little bit. But we're going to talk about the taste of things to come. We're going to talk a little bit about shape shifting, whether that be the shape of formats that beer comes in, or maybe
From square to octagonal
Yeah.
or something.
the shape shifting. We're going to talk about wizardry, specifically marketing wizardry, and then a potpourri grab bag area as well. So it's going to be a lot of fun, and I can finally flex my muscle and show everyone that I can see into the future with great clarity.
Wow.
Yeah. So I noticed you have a big, what is that? Just like a bag of dust? Bag of sand that you brought with you?
Yeah, the future's very dusty. It's actually a bunch of, it's a cryptocurrency
Oh.
of the future whenever you
Oh.
reduce to rubble.
So fine.
Yeah, I've been holding on to a lot of these for a long time. So,
Okay.
yeah.
That helps you see
grind
into the
it
future.
up. You grind it up to take up less space when you're roving packs of dust.
Dust zombies
Dust zombies are coming for you.
going after you. Okay.
Dust zombies, not zombies, dusts.
No. Okay.
I don't know anything about that.
Well,
You throw it on the fire like in the beginning of that
yeah.
Nickelodeon show, and we tell scary stories.
Yeah. Yeah. So before we start, is there any words that anyone would like to say before we begin with our predictions for the future? Not even predictions, just statements of fact about the future.
Right.
Okay, I'll take that as a no, and we'll move on. All right, let's start out with the taste of things to come, Mike.
Yes.
Okay.
The famous jazz album from 1959, Free Jazz. Sorry.
Yes,
Had
that.
a flashback to college there.
It's okay.
supposed to be
Time
flashing forward,
time
I
is
flash
fluid.
back.
Yeah, sometimes you
Flat
get
circle
stuck
I've
that
heard
way.
from the
So
from the
we're going to start out with a big one. Okay. I want to know, what is the next new style of beer to get attention from people? What is the next style? A lot of people, the Oscars, they do Best Picture last. I get it out of the way.
yeah. Yeah.
I get it right out of the way.
You're like Kenny Rogers plays the gambler at
First.
the beginning
The
and
beginning.
the end.
And
of
the end
set.
again.
No,
We'll
you
predict-
gotta,
we'll
the guys can go home who don't want to be there, and then you hit them again with it at the end.
Bang.
And then the encore, you finish the encore with the gambler.
With the gambler a third time.
Yeah.
So we're just going to get right into it, because I'm not talking about wimpy. I'm not pussyfooting around this predicting stuff. I want to get right to it. We're going to see what we have. So, what is the next new? And I'll put new in quotes, because what is truly new? What is the next new style of beer, everyone, that is going to, shall we say, blow up? Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, we shall. I
Yes,
just
we
did.
will. Yeah, you're saying
What is
it.
the next style? Okay, it's open now. You can. Yeah, there you go. You can just leave that, Serge. We'll just leave that as a general background because it helps me.
Yeah,
helps
we're
me
in like a
with my sage sing.
yeah,
like a seance in
Sears
here.
caravan wagon, like from Wizard of Oz. You're staring at the crystal ball, and
People can't see that strange Mike. He has a giant. He is one of those
turban.
a turban with a
Not
jewel
problematic at all.
with a jewel over it. You look a lot like Karnak.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, that was what I was going for.
Yeah,
Big Karnak guy.
yeah. That's fine. Hey, it's not your fault. That's how you need. That's how you can see.
I got to keep my hair looking the way it's got to look.
Yeah. So the next new style that's going to blow up. Shall I go first, or
Yeah,
are you
sure.
afraid? Sounds like everyone's afraid
I
to
think
give their
you should-
predictions.
You should step into the future first.
I shall.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I will then. Just give me one moment. It's all becoming very, very clear. It's very clear to me. Yes, that's right. I see it right now, and the future is clear. The future of new beer styles is clear. They're going to be called clear juice bombs, perhaps nectar IPAs. They're going to be the flavor profile of a New England style IPA, but they're going to be clear. They're not going to have the haze to them, but all that flavor that people want from the hops, from that double dry hopping. So it's not necessarily what I want the future to be, but I have no say over this. This is what it is.
So like
That's the next new style.
a crystal hazy,
Yes.
like a crystal vice, but for
Yeah.
hazy beers.
Crystal hazen.
Yeah, crystal hazen.
Which makes a lot of sense. Yeah. Crystal hazen. Yeah. The next big
You
style.
heard it here first. Crystal Hazen. I
Crystal
love it.
Hazen.
That's
I think I
amazing.
went to middle school with crystal hazen.
Yes.
Yeah, that's true.
She was nice.
Yes.
All right,
Yes.
well, can you wait? All right. So,
Okay, come on.
All jokes aside, I want you to. Can you give more define that style, taste wise?
Sure.
On the palate, how does that?
So
what's
it's
that
going to be
experience?
very tropical. It's going to be very fruity. It's going to be incredibly hop forward. It's going to have low bitterness. It'll have the clarity of a classic West Coast IPA. It'll probably have something similar in malt profile to a West Coast IPA as well. It may have some softness to the, or just a general sweetness in the palate, which will have it give it a softer kind of feel on the mouth. But it will be incredibly aroma and flavor hop with the new latest and greatest hop varietals, and but it will be it won't be kind of murky or muddy or nearly as much. In fact, I think the clarity of it will be a focal point.
So
of this
visually
beer.
different, but anything else different?
I don't think they'll be able to achieve the same mouthfeel that they can by dumping tons of oats into it. I just think it'll be hard to get some of that clarity. Right. The crystal hazen, the true crystal hazen quality if you have a lot of oats, but if they can, I think they'll certainly try.
I would say the good breweries who are already doing that, taking that concept, are using that idea that, okay, if it can't be hazy, it needs to be drier, right? It needs to be it needs to be leaner on the palate, and I think the good breweries are adjusting for that and creating something that wouldn't really be classified under that category. So I don't know that what you're describing as a possibility is even, or describing as a prediction is even possible.
I'm going to go in a
Not
different
yet.
direction. So, Chris, I spend a lot of time in Sacramento in the Bay Area visiting family, so I bounce around to all the breweries there. And what I've been surprised to see there is a lot of new school breweries, let's say ones that have popped up in the last 5 or 6 years, not 10 to 12 years. They have a whole list of IPAs on their draft board
Turn it down a little bit. Sorry. Okay.
that are exactly what you're describing. And they call those beers West Coast IPAs, even though those are nothing like what we here in the Midwest call and think of as a West Coast style IPA, like a Pliny the Elder, like a Port Mongo. It is nothing like those. If anything, it's more similar to like a Pipeworks Lizard King or a Half Acre Bodum that is this like very contemporary but clear tasting IPA. And that sounds a lot like what you're talking about. And I'm just pointing out that I see a lot of that on the West Coast. Cellar Maker is another one that was very much championing these kinds of IPAs. And we don't have a whole lot of options of that, especially here in the Midwest. And I see it and I like it.
I like it a lot. I think there's going to be a new moniker other than West Coast IPA for these styles. Certainly hope so, because they're not West Coast IPAs. Okay, who's next? Yeah.
Cold Kvike. Cold Kvike is going to be the new hot style. It's like Kvike, but it's brewed at normal fermentation temperatures.
Interesting.
Kind of like cold IPA, but with Kvike yeast, the difference between your fermentation temperature you would have for a Kvike yeast down.
Do you get any of the benefits of
Nope.
of shortened fermentation time?
No, it's extended, actually. It stalls out quite often.
Okay. Great.
Yeah.
And the profile is ester-free and clean?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Good. Good.
Yep.
All right. Okay. So, and it's called what?
Cold Kvike.
Cold. I'm writing this
cold
down.
is with a K.
Got it.
Yeah.
That's an important. I'm glad you mentioned that.
Called branding, Chris.
Yeah. Cold Kvike.
Cold Kvike.
Okay. I don't doubt that.
Nope. It's a great idea. I don't know why no one's doing it.
If
right
that's
now.
what the dust is telling you, then
So the dust is telling me that throw it up in
Yeah.
the air.
okay. Well, who's next? What's the next new style
I'll go next.
to blow up? Yes.
So, we've been talking about health and wellness trends for years, 5 years, about how that's going to be, trends in beer. And it has nothing, hasn't overtaken what people brew or anything, but, it's been hanging around there. But a focus of health and wellness, one of many, is always hydration. And a struggle of, people who like to drink beer is remembering to stay hydrated. And therefore, we're going to see breweries make the electrolyte IPA
Yes.
in 2022. There may be one or two floating around, but we're about to see
It
hundreds
blow up.
of them.
Hundreds of them.
That's always like an
Broke my
interesting
glasses. That was such a good
place
prediction.
that breweries dance around in, right? Is the healthy lifestyle beer, because you're not legally allowed to make any claims that your beer is healthy in any way or healthier than any other beer. So you're just kind of like, well, it's got electrolytes in it, and there's vitamins and minerals in that. Like, what was that? The seltzer that was like, it's got probiotics and seltzer in it. So
Right.
And-
But
and-
seltzers are governed by the different.
the hard seltzer.
Right.
Those are governed by something other than the TTB.
Right. Yeah. Right. That's
Hard
why
seltzer?
that's why they have to put the calorie or the all the nutrition stats on the side.
Oh, I didn't know that.
So I think that might allow breweries, small ones, to get away with this for
Electrolyte
enough
IPA.
time before
Got
it's
it.
gone.
I completely broke my glasses.
So now you can't see.
Now I can't see.
Oh my God.
So I didn't see that coming.
The
I have to
electrolyte
admit.
IPA?
So
Breaking your glasses.
I do. There are limits to what I can see, and
now there's even greater
literally and figuratively. Now there's severe
This
limits
is the
to
best,
what I can
the best possible thing that could have happened for
literally
the show.
see. Yeah, is breaking my glasses. So that's happened.
The symbolism is just rich.
Yes. So
I think it's
so
a great
if-
prediction.
I think it's a good prediction. I think it'll come down to who can afford to have the most fitness models in their ad campaigns.
So they are expensive.
Yes.
How do you see these being positioned when they inevitably do come about? Are they just going to be something, if we did this other thing to an IPA, and here's a small batch of it, or do you think these are going to be actual, like, not stable, but like large production branding behind it, pushing that, without
From the
saying it, that this is aligned with your health and wellness desires?
I think we're going to see a few top 50 players dabble in this, and this might take toward the end of the year for this to actually happen. This isn't going to be like coming up in a few months here, but I think because of those health concerns, I think we're going to see a lot more of the smaller breweries putting out a lot of quick releases, who kind of shoot from the hip a little bit more, actually playing around with this, even though it doesn't sound. It is like a new way to premiumize probably a lower ABV IPA. Like they probably want to make a 4.8, 5.5%, but they feel like they need a shtick to it.
So you think
the
small
electrolyte
breweries
is the shtick?
who focus more on? So you think it's going to be small breweries?
I think there'll be a couple.
There any
I think
They're
there'll be a
going to
couple
play
big ones.
to health and wellness, and this will be their health and wellness play.
Is there any chance that
Okay.
there isn't going to be an off-color Goza next fall called Beer for Marathons with electrolytes in it? Is there any chance that doesn't happen now?
I
Makes total sense.
makes total sense. It is foretold.
It also to me makes a lot of sense for athletic brewing, the non-alcoholic one, to
it totally
sponsor a bunch of races with their electrolyte beer.
If this begins to take off, any brewery playing around in non-alcoholics will absolutely jump all over it immediately. I think I was going to say that too. So very good point. Any of them, it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
I think it's I think it's silly. Don't get me wrong. I'm half joking with this, but I am dead serious as well.
Yeah.
Half joking,
joking.
all serious.
Yes.
That's 1.5
That's
amounts.
a
Like
true
I'm
take.
laughing at it in advance. But
All right, I want to hear from the Three-Eyed Take at this point.
You want new styles?
Yeah, I want new styles.
I banged my head against the wall on this, and I got
Concussion
nothing
style.
on. I got
Whoa.
beautiful backing track here.
Yeah.
I got nothing on new styles because I'm unfortunately so in the headspace of Hopewell and what we're trying to do, and so anything I would suggest from what we're doing for 2022 would just be, it would just be compromised by it's conflict of interest, right? I just be
Got
telling
it.
you stuff that we're doing. But overall trends, new styles, like I'm not like.
We understand you have no
Yeah,
idea. There's
yeah.
plenty of other
I got
questions.
So
no
your
I-
prediction is that there will be no new styles ever again.
There
Yes.
will be, but I am so far from being able to predict what that is because we're not. My personal headspace is not in that.
Sounds like Hopewell's making a cold kvike then with electrolytes
Yep.
Yeah.
That's clear, but also incredibly hoppy.
and hazy.
We have a
and not
centrifuge,
the left
so
half.
everything will be
It's like a
clear.
Twix
Thank
thing.
you.
Yes. It's like a Twix beer.
The left half of the glass is hazy.
Wait,
the
that's
right
for the shape-shifting segment.
Sorry.
Wait.
My bad.
Well, let's
Cause in the
keep
future.
going with the taste of things to come. So we've had some resurgence. You know, what's old is new
Now,
again.
here's where I
Once
come
was
in,
old
Chris.
is new
Here's where I
again.
come in, Chris.
And there's things that were once dead that have been resurrected. Most famously, I would say, wit beer, brought back from the dead.
Goza.
Goza as well. Also, what's the slightly sour saison that I can't think of right now?
Grisette.
Grisette.
Not always so.
Kind of
Chris.
invented, but whatever.
Well,
Yeah.
marketing.
Yes. That don't know.
Rustic
We'll get to that
rustic
later
marketing.
as well. Rustic marketing. I wanted to hear about what is an old style, not literally old style, although it could be, that will see a resurgence. What's the next
Okay,
style
let me
to
get
see
in the mix here,
resurgence?
Chris. I
Jump at it.
I swung and I missed with the new unheard styles because I don't know what the hell that's about. But
No new
I will
styles.
say what we will see a resurgence of. This is based on my own anecdotal evidence of what, as a part-time salesperson in the field, and what bars are looking for is pale ale, straight up pale ale, APA, talking non-hazy Sierra Nevada throwback pale ale. mix of classic C hop, straightforward 5% pale ale. I think that we'll continue to see emergence here in the next year, and I think there's a lot of reasons for that. I want to hold my back pocket as we go into future topics. But I think there's a reason why 2022 will specifically see more focus on the pale ale.
I certainly hope so. I remember we were trying to think of contemporaries to the Sierra Nevada Pale Ale, and getting harder and harder to find, I think, direct peers to that beer. I'm not saying they're not out there. I'm just saying it's becoming more difficult.
I wonder if that's regional too. Like
Perhaps.
we definitely have like Daisy
Doesn't
Cutter.
everybody make a pale ale here? I feel like every Chicago brewery that runs the gambit on styles has a pale ale.
Yeah.
How many breweries that make pale ales have it lead the portfolio?
Lead.
Half acre.
Where does it rank in,
I mean-
in Revolution's portfolio?
Not by choice, but it's probably like fifth.
Okay, so in Hopewell, it outsells our IPA 2-1. So I think there's something there about what pale ale can mean to people. I think Half Acre is a good example. So it's not just having the pale ale in the portfolio. It's about where does it resonate with people. And I think it's a particular approach to it. So I don't know. I mean, that's something that's interesting to talk about, right? Is why a lot of brands have a pale ale, but why does it for Rev rank fifth in the portfolio versus Hopewell, where it ranks number one? I don't know.
I think it's the order that we trotted it out. Like we had Anti-Hero out for 10 years. Fifth City came like 6 years later. And so it just didn't have the brand equity. It just wasn't, its timing has a lot to do with it. That's just one rebuttal.
Yeah.
But it'll be different in every case.
Anyone else who wants to go next? Next style to see resurgence.
You go ahead, Doug.
I'll go. Man, I have a couple. I gotta. Okay. So we've seen the winter IPA, and as part of all the things that could be a winter IPA, side by side, I should say, we've seen the cold IPA thrive as a way for these breweries whose fans are relying on them to make a new kind of IPA and tell them something different about IPA every couple weeks. We've seen the winter IPA and very recently the cold IPA kind of fill a slot in the calendar for these January months we're in and February. But we're going to come summer, and what are they going to do? They've really piggybacked on this extra attention that the seasons are getting to what breweries make and rallying around the season. So breweries, having seen the success of the winter IPA, are going to be looking around and saying, what do we do in these beautiful summer months where we sell twice as much beer and so we can get away with a few more options? They're going to be relying on a style we all probably really enjoy, and that's the hoppy wheat beer, which is by no means not around, but the hoppy wheat beer is about to go from a beer that, we got our Oberon, Rev, we make Sun Crusher, breweries make them here and there.
312.
But we're about to see the hoppy wheat beer enter the hype brewery, the IPA release brewery, the brewery that's making a new IPA every few weeks. The hoppy wheat beer is about to enter their orbit, and it may or may not be called the summer IPA.
I
It's
thought
going
you
to
were
focus
going,
on.
I think you should
thought you were
predict
gonna-
which it will be. Will it or won't it be
It will
called?
be the
It
summer
will be the
IPA.
summer.
I thought you were going a different
IPA.
direction. I thought you were going Kolsch, like the hoppy Kolsch was coming back as the summertime, like the Goose Island Summer Ale. It's a Kolsch.
What's your prediction, Mike?
My prediction, I'm taking a page out of Jake's book, and I'm saying there will be no noticeable resurgence of any old styles in the next 3 years.
Okay.
There will be no scan
Let's
data that
go.
says anything
There we
that was
go.
cool in the past is regaining traction against IPA.
Got it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Interesting.
Just IPA
That's not what you're
forever.
saying. That's what you're being told.
That's what I've seen
That's what you've seen.
from the future.
Exactly.
If we're going to see a resurgence of wheat pails, can I make a special plea to Half Acre? Bring back OG Akari
Akari
Shogun.
Shogun.
Please, not the hazy stuff.
Yeah.
I want that OG.
That Motueka.
Also, yeah, that Motueka.
Can I piggyback on that? Do you mind? I mean,
Yeah,
I'm
absolutely.
asking. It's your
Bring it,
request.
Chris. Bring it,
Okay,
Chris.
thank you. Can you ditto that for all your old styles that you made hazy, please?
Yeah.
Just all breweries.
Every
You're talking every brewery?
just half acre.
Okay.
All the beers that you made and then remade hazy.
Yeah.
Can you
Yeah.
release them as under a different name? I don't care. Just make beer hates astronauts.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, make that
The
beer.
OG.
The OG version.
All Vienna, all Citra
Sanita,
beer. hates
come on, let's go.
astronauts.
Yeah, Sanita, exactly. All those. Akari though would be
Akari
probably
is-
my first.
That
beer was
Particular
amazing.
beer is one of the most influential beers I've ever had, and it is the reason why we use Motueka in like a third of our beers. at
Right.
Football.
It's great.
It's one of those beers.
I want a Akari Shogun Mist. Remember those? When they would do those
Yep.
those casks that had lemon lime zest in it.
Now,
Like
cask.
liquid Sprite.
We're going to be talking about cask
Oh.
beer very soon. The next style resurgence. I've looked into the future. I saw things very similar to Jake. Slightly different, but very similar. I think we're going to see more sessionable beers. I think we're going to see beers that are enjoyable to consume at a slow pace over the course of the night. I'm not talking about something that's going to destroy my palate. Yes, it has some hops, but also some malt. I think it may go by many names, but those in the know will know them as English pale ales.
Yikes.
Perhaps on cask.
That's when I see a real resurgence.
Yeah.
At your bar.
Everywhere.
Yeah. Oh, everywhere.
Everywhere.
Right. Yeah. For
In
sure.
my mind, I've
sure,
seen it.
For sure.
I've seen it. Yeah, I've seen it.
Seen it.
Yeah, I've seen it. So it has been foreseen. So
It has
it's
been
not up
told.
to me at this point. It's
Has
just
been
the future.
foretold.
And if it doesn't happen, it's because of some Marty McFly shit. That's all I gotta say.
Yeah,
Somebody
we're
went in
we're
the
Biff-
future.
I mean, you know we're in the Biff Tannen timeline now, right?
exactly.
This is post the
Yeah, we are definitely.
bad times.
So, I'll just say that.
Right.
I want to switch it up a little bit, and I want to talk a little bit about shape shifting.
Oh, okay.
Okay, I'm talking about formats. I'm talking about serving styles. Okay, we're gonna get back to the taste of things to come. Get back, but there's some other questions I have. Okay, I want to know. So much of what I've seen in the past has been about how beer is served, whether it's filled to the brim with beer, almost a meniscus over the lip, the boss
Like a
pour, the
boss.
Iceman pour, if you will. I remember I saw that coming long ago. Didn't say anything about it, but I saw it coming.
This is your fault.
And then the slow pour, I would say, is that. I would say the Nintendo characters on glassware. The super crazy glasses that are shaped all like a fishbowl or something like that.
That are fish bowls off.
That are fishbowls
Yeah.
often. Okay. What is the next big serving gimmick, I'll say,
Sure.
that will hit the beer world? Something about serving the beer. Is there anything that you guys see? Some sort of trends or changes in how beer is served?
Vom Fass, like they do in Germany.
What's that?
Friday, where they have a.
There's one of those in Lincoln Square.
Yeah. So yes. So they, but like a straight up like cask of beer
On the counter?
on the counter, and it's done when it's done. I know
Yeah.
they've kind of already done that, but like
Gravity pour style.
yeah, gravity pour. I know that's been done a little bit. That'd be something interesting. I think seeing. I think the more conservative suggestion here or prediction is lucre pour. That's already been happening.
When you say lucre pour, describe. What you
Yeah,
mean by
that's
that.
the side pull, kind of like Pilsner Urquell is done this way.
Not a fast pour versus a slow pour.
It's a Czech brand of
right,
faucet
but so
that
this
lets
is
you
particular
control.
faucet that I just went over to. I was in New York doing some sales, and it was big over there, way bigger than I anticipated, and bigger than it is in Chicago. And I anticipate that kind of continuing to infiltrate bars as a way to like
show quality,
and just
pour.
like
we care.
Yeah.
Right. It's like a step above slow pour even. Like we have this special way to pour your beer.
That's fast but slow.
Right. So I think Lucre will hit Chicago specifically, but overall I could see that sort of like cask, Vom Fass, like here's a Friday beer that was aged in this vessel coming on the bar top. And that's been done before, but I think that's going to have a resurgence. 2022.
This isn't my prediction, but I want to piggyback on Jake's. I agree wholeheartedly with everything he said, and I would add on. I think we're going to see the return of Firkin Fridays at a lot of tap rooms, especially just because it's hard with distros sometimes to send Firkins around. We'll see more of those too, but I think breweries are going to be doing it not because it lights the P&L on fire, but because it's something new to do with something you're already making that gives your regulars something to look forward to, and tying it to a specific day, putting it on a schedule like that just turns it into this thing you do versus like, well, when are we going to do it? It's just like if you have a set day, you just end up doing it. So I could see more Firkin Fridays, which used to be like the norm at so many places. I could see that coming back mostly because the people that make them just want to do it.
Mm-hmm. I'll say I have looked into the future, and you're both right.
Nice.
There is going to be
job,
more
guys.
cask ale, probably of a new resurgent style of British Pale Ale, perhaps. Milk pours, I think, are going to be a thing because they're grammable. So it's going to be cool to get a milk pour, which you need the Lucre tap
Mliko.
for.
I mean, some of my kegs, you don't need that.
Exactly. Well, I mean, that's what you're have to. That's what you're gonna have to. I mean, you're ahead of the
I'm
game.
ahead of the game, yeah.
And then, so I think those are both going to be a thing. And then also in the pastry stout world, maybe a glucose test strip that will go with it.
Like a diabetes.
Yes.
Okay.
The pastry
it'll
pour.
be right on it.
Yeah.
A pastry pour.
It's tied right onto the
You can just,
package.
yep. Cut yourself on the little tab and then test it.
This one might overlap a little bit with packaging, but I feel like they're kind of intertwined. But I'm saying the return of the growler is going to be something that happens in the next year. As cans stay kind of hard to get, growlers will be hard to get. Places that are built on kegs and hype can releases will be like, come and get a growler. You got to drink it today. Maybe even on-premise growlers, pitchers, if you will.
Yes.
Closed top pitchers are going to make a
Pitchers,
comeback.
if you will.
Yeah, closed top pitchers. But I see not a huge resurgence, but definitely some breweries selling growlers again.
Do you think they'll turn them into more of a deal instead of a novelty? Meaning they'll price them aggressively, where in the past they almost made less sense than buying the same six-pack.
It could be like a day of the week. You come and get your $8 growler, or it's like a loyalty program where you get a growler all the time. But I feel like I think there's only one brewery in Chicago I think that actually does any growler sales.
Peace?
Peace might. But Guile has like a very robust,
that's true.
Community-supported brewery growler program that people are very active in.
And you're talking specifically glass, like you're
Yes.
ruling.
Not crowler.
Not
but
crowler.
The actual jug of beer you're going to bring home from your local brewery. And it's not going to hit the scan data and be like, oh, look at this crazy trend. But I bet you'll.
Therefore, when it doesn't,
anecdotally-
when there's no data showing that you're right, you're still right.
This is how I live
Very
my life.
smart.
When
smart.
Don was on, we had him look up in his data software, Saison. Didn't show up. So
Exactly.
I live my life below the grid.
Exactly. You're not off the grid. You're just
No,
below
just
it.
underneath it.
You're
What are you
below
guys
it.
doing up there? Is that
Yeah.
what is that, money?
Exactly.
I think the only way growlers work is if it's beer that is draft only.
That's what I'm saying.
So,
when
yeah,
it's
so
hard to
that-
get cans, and
right,
you like,
right. So that's interesting.
But
It's like-
people can come back to your tap
Right.
room more frequently, and COVID restrictions are a little bit more lifted,
Yeah.
and they want something to take home. the growler will reemerge.
So
as
I think what's
something where
interesting
it's
about
a
that is talking
souvenir.
about is pushing that up a little bit and talking about draft only beer. Does that become a trend again after? It's something I would have predicted maybe 3 months ago, but now with further lockdowns with COVID, draft only beers become a little bit more shaky. But something we made a play on 2 months ago was we brought back our first draft only beer since pre-COVID was a nitro. We called it pub ale, which is like English style beer, and that was like a huge. I was personally super in on that as a concept. Like, hey, what are beers that we do that you can only get if you're at a bar, right? But now, I mean, things are changing again. Bars are closing down, and now we're looking at off-premise as kind of like the main way to move beer. It changes every day. But I like that as a concept, is like kind of looking at draft-only beer and making that an interesting sort of an aspect of beer. I would be into that as like, hey, a spot that's like, hey, I can't get cans of this because they can't afford to do cans of this, or it's just like a small batch. Hey, you can go get it on draft, or you can take a growler home. Yeah. But 5 years ago, everyone kind of pivoted towards everything is in cans, right? Everything is packaged, and it kind of took away the romanticism around a growler.
Yeah. Well, I'm more specifically thinking I'm gonna come to Beer Temple or to Firkin Friday at Hopewell, and I'm going to get a growler of English-style pub ale on cask, gravity fed again into my growler. I'm going to re-ferment it on my own to keep it carved up.
Hey, I'm trying, okay, here's something I'm going to, on air.
I also have seen that, so that will
I'm going to put you on the spot, Chris. I want, I want you to pour our food or beer on cask. Yes?
Yeah.
Yes, Chris?
Yes. Okay.
All right. We have food or beer.
Yeah.
Ready to go. Let's put it in a cask.
Wait, like food or pills or food or
straight up
food or beer?
Wild beer.
Okay.
Would you be willing to pour that on your cask?
You're not the first person.
Already asked.
You're not the first person in this room to
I know we have some pushback, but I want to pour some food or beer on cask at the Beer Temple.
So it could happen, but I think you need to. It's hard to do a little bit. It's hard to do small pours. It has to be a quaffable beer that you do in.
It will be a quaffable beer.
Yeah. Okay. As long as it's quaffable, I don't have any issues with it. I don't have a problem with it being sour. I think lightly tart and chuggable.
Honestly, some of the best lambic experiences I've had were in Belgium with like lambic on cask that there was hand pulled.
You'd be the only spot doing it, Chris. I'm just saying.
One's a trend.
Yeah.
That's what they say in stats.
That's true. One's
Which ties into my next prediction. Fooder cask beer taking off 2022.
It's funny. I saw that too. I also saw that. I think here I'm going to give them what we call in the future. Then they're going to call this a teaser, and it's what we're going to talk about next after the break is the what is going to be the most hyped BCS variant this coming year. Because let's be real. We all know why we're here. We all know why we got into the industry. It's just to get the sweet, hype variants.
Heck yeah.
So I know what it's going to be. Let's see what they know, and then we'll be back with more of the Beer Temple podcast, Something Future. Welcome back to the Beer Temple Future Telling episode. We had to take a break, had to get a fire going. There's a bit of a leak here, as you can hear, but we had to move things outside.
Just nice. The rain is just kind of pitter-pattering on the window as we sit in this fortune teller's
I changed my
caravan.
perspective, a little bit. Yeah. And one of the things I realized, I've changed in many ways since we were on break.
Passes prologue. Let's keep going.
Yeah. Well, one thing that isn't prologue is the fact that we forgot to ask Doug what his serving gimmick was going to be. So we should go back, and then it'll be prologue, and we'll move forward. So, Doug, what do you think is going to be the next big serving gimmick?
Gee, thanks. So, Chris, the last time I was on the show, we were talking about how competitive barrel-aged beer, specifically like stouts and barley wines, the dark beers, how competitive that space has gotten with everybody having a barrel program now, putting out good quality stuff. We've also, you and I share a mutual appreciation for how important experience is. And I think it's about to get even more competitive and competitive inside getting patrons to tap rooms. And so I'm thinking about how we can tie this barrel-aged beer that everybody loves into an experience and just tying more things together. You know, we've talked about how consumers are now getting excited again about specific barrels and barrel treatments, and this they want to try this beer because they understand the barrel it was aged in. We know blending is a big part of barrel-aged beer, and but that's the part that fans don't really get to experience themselves, is the blend coming together. So I think a serving gimmick a la the slow pour pills would be a brewery who makes enough beer to be able to keg off a few different components, whether it's a different barrel or a different base beer altogether that goes into a blend of beers, but to keg off the different components so that for maybe a special day, perhaps the day of a barrel-aged release, you can buy the equivalent of like a flight where you get 4 small pours. One is the final blend, and then the other 3 perhaps are let's say there were 3 components, are the 3 individual components to allow people to try each piece on its own, followed by the real thing. I think that the degree of difficulty of doing that is challenging, but it is doable, and I think
Like a
we're going to see that.
deconstructed
Yeah,
barrel-aged stout.
where you get to taste the whole the constructed version and the deconstructed version. I think people would be into that.
Interesting.
We actually did something not exactly like that at Pipeworks when I was there, where we made this brown and stirred, which is like a Manhattan-inspired thing. We aged it in 2 different kinds of rye barrels and then a vermouth barrel. Packaged them all individually on a really small level in the blend. And really, it wasn't like a pack you could buy together, but you could get all of the different threads of it.
Yeah, I've always said for a collab, this is off topic now, but on that note, I've always said I love when a collab has like an extra thing to it.
Mm-hmm.
I've always thought it'd be cool for 2 breweries to brew a collab on each other's system and brew a beer that can stand alone and be something that you could drink on its own, but it makes sense. It's designed to be combined just like that. You did that.
We
Okay,
did,
perfect.
we did that.
Cool.
Yeah, did that one too.
Love it.
Check. With Jake.
What was the styles?
So we made varying levels of aged beer decoupage and beer accoupage and confused everyone about which one meant what. But it was like the base beer, the blend, like a beer for blending, the beer that was blended. So we both brewed the same beers in our systems. Ours was then also bottle conditioned with their mixed culture. So it was like halfway between like the base beer and the full final blend. And then you guys made a blend of the base beer you brewed at your brewery with beer stock you had aged in barrels.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
More of this.
But it's a pain. It's such a pain, and it's not really a pain, but it's a pain in terms of describing that to the consumer and actually having that be something that people take home is like, did anyone understand what we were doing there? I'm not saying that's not the case, but it's a high degree. It involves a high degree.
big ask.
Yeah, it's a big ask.
And this is also like we were talking about before the show, that just because a couple breweries and particularly the kind of smaller breweries did doesn't mean it's not going to become something that more breweries do, and that's kind of the part of what these things become.
And it's probably easier in like the barrel-aged stout world,
Yeah.
right, than it is in the mixed culture, spontaneous fermentation.
Accoupage
all those kind of
world.
things. It's
Yeah,
probably
the
easier to
it's
explain.
a very crowded world. Of
We
the
took a
accoupage
style that no
style.
one knows, beer decoupage, and then we made a new style off
Sub-style.
of that called
Yeah.
beer
Accoupage.
accoupage. Yeah, so it was
and there was a decoupaged label.
highly conceptual beer.
With
In fact, you know what? But though, that's
Hodgepodge.
one of my favorite
Yeah.
beers we've done in Hopewell. That beer rules.
It rocks.
Hey, and you can find it in bottles at
3 Michelin star restaurant.
3 Michelin star restaurants, particularly Oriole. Just so you know,
Pretty
just
cool.
so you know,
Pretty cool
that's how good a
stuff.
beer it is.
So let's talk about what people really tune into this show for, which is the hype shit. Let's be real.
Let's go.
We know you hype lords
Beer
out there
Temple
want to know
hype shit hour.
what to get, what to pre-order, what to pre-trade for. I know you're trying to get to that bottle of Stag or Old Rip, and what's going to get you there?
Not even.
What's going to get you there?
Right.
No, I mean, that's unobtainium at this point. If you're talking about 15 years.
I got a story to tell you about an unobtainium bottle that I was
So-
going to open, but I can't now because it's too expensive.
Just open.
Pay my rent for 2 months.
Just open it. Just open it. You
No.
can't go there.
No, you haven't
Can't do it.
know.
What is not just a variant that will be out for BCS next year, but the hyped variant that comes out next year? There is an answer to this one. I know it. I know you guys know it too.
I know it.
I know it.
I know it.
I know it.
So,
I know it.
So why don't you go?
so
know it.
I'd say the brewery in Chicagoland that's whose stouts get the most, I don't know, let's say secondary hype would probably be Phase 3 right now. Is that fair? Mm-hmm. And what they are doing and really just absolutely crushing. It's hard to taste. It's hard to get your hands on a bottle. They're hard to find. There's so much demand. There's not that much of it. But I don't even know how to pronounce it, but EUNOIA, something like
Yonoya.
Yes.
Yonoya, is that how you say
that,
it?
which is a peanut butter stout. And I don't believe there's ever been a peanut butter BCS.
Took mine.
And I believe we will. That's why I jumped first on this one, because someone else was going to say that. Peanut butter BCS will be the new hotness next year. They have collabed with Phase 3. They are aware of this beer. They know that they've never done a peanut butter. They will do a peanut butter.
And it will
that's the
be
style.
the hottest
It will
one.
be the hottest style.
Okay.
They might not want it to be. They might throw some other fancy barrel one out there, and they will. But this will be the one that people really want to drink.
I'm gonna one up you,
Okay.
and I'm gonna go. You're in the fish parking lot, and you're pre-show. You got to find your bean to drop. So you walk over to the hairy hippie rolling goo balls on his chest, and you get a peanut butter coconut variant, because you can't just have just one thing for the hot one. You got to have a bunch of weird stuff in there. Either that, or they're going to collaborate with the new hard Fresca that's coming out.
Yes. Now you're starting to
See,
think.
so
now
okay.
your third eye's starting to open up.
That's right.
the picking the most hot variant is, to me, less interesting than picking out the most out of
Hated.
left field variant. In the last 2 years,
Fresca.
We had this last year. We had Cola.
Cola.
Before that, we had Kentucky Fog. To me, that'd be a more interesting conversation. What is the most out of left field variant to come out? And I will throw one out there. I'll say Garam Masala.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm gonna say chop masala then. By the way.
Sure.
But you're saying like some coriander.
Yeah. Some of that. I mean, that's already been incorporated with the cola variant, right? Coriander, but like that kind of mix of spices. I think that's. I mean, to predict peanut butter, that's one thing, right? But like, what is the next out of left field variant that they're going to do over there?
I'm just trying to answer the
Celery
question.
salt.
Celery salt.
Celery salt. It's like because it's supposed to be Chicago only, right?
Chicago dog.
Yeah.
Well, you're both. I appreciate
Tavern
all three
style.
of your visions. And I will say that I can see into multiple depths of time, and you're all right at different amounts of time. You wait long enough, and they'll all happen. I promise you. But next year, the hype version is going to be called. Hold on, I wrote it down.
Oh, yeah, you got
Let me
it.
look. Okay.
You had it so clear in your head.
Blanton's Bramble BCS. It's going to be a combination of a adjunct and a specialty barrel, and it's going to be
Okay.
super hype.
I'm changing mine then.
No, you can't.
Now it's going to be an Elvis inspired beer, where
Peanut
it's
butter Havana.
Elvis and his manager, but it's in Colonel E.H. Taylor barrels because his manager was called the Colonel.
The problem
Got
with
it.
this
So it's a whole
is
branding
that
tie-in.
The problem with
think
this
you're right.
is that I know they start to do trials on this beer like pretty soon, like in the next month or so, they're going to hear this, and they're going to, just to spite us, they're going to be doing all of these, and they're going to prove all of us right or wrong.
The funny thing is, I foresaw that. And that is what at first I was like, oh, peanut butter all the way. But then I was like, wait, they heard that. They're being spiteful. Now it's going to be Blanton's Bramble.
Right.
So, I'm playing future chess. Y'all are playing
You're playing
future
40,
checkers.
You're playing
40 chess because you're
in the future.
You're taking something that they made a high-end brand and bought a special box for, and then you're just throwing berries in it.
A sticker that says Bramble.
Yeah, so you're diluting the rare quality of the barrel speciality that they created with some cat fruit puree.
There'll be Blanton's as well, but also a Blanton's Bramble.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah, backyard Blanton's.
Backyard
Rye.
Bramble.
Yeah.
Backyard Blanton. Exactly. Pappy Van PBJ.
PBJ Van Winkle, yeah.
Yeah. So that has been foretold. So it shall be.
So it was written.
Yeah. So that's going to be the next hype. Let me ask you guys a quick one. This one's going to be a rapid fire. Okay. Mm-hmm. We all know about these Pilsners. Everyone's now trying to. Pilsner is like a sub, like IPA, where everyone's has to come up with a new version of their pills.
It's like a platform.
Yes,
Pilsner is a platform.
You have the American style. You've got the Italian. You've got the
Budweiser playing with all those.
Yeah, the Polish one. The unfiltered was there, but 2 years ago or so was the Italian pills. Mm-hmm. Now it's the Polish pills. It's the Polish pills.
Yeah.
And if you don't know what a Polish pills is, please don't even talk to me because everyone knows what a Polish pills is.
You ever heard of Groats, bro?
Exactly. So I want to know what is the next. This is a fast one, guys. Rapid. What is the next pills sub-style?
Pills substyle or lager substyle?
Light lager. I'll let you go light lager.
Can I?
Please. Yeah.
Just real quick explanation. So just like there's meme stocks that shouldn't be going up, but that become funny.
Doge lager.
That become funny to buy, and then they actually become a legitimate stock.
Oh no! Don't do that to lager.
That's going to happen to Dortmunder. Dortmunder is going to become a meme lager, and Don't Drink Beer is going to be behind it. There's just going to be jokes around it, and then it's actually going to become a thing because it is a great style. It's just a weird name. Nobody knows what it is, even though it's like a very approachable kind of lager. Dortmunders are going to be back, baby.
Got it.
Love it.
Are you saying Hopewell should reprise our Dortmunder called Dorkmunder? That's a beer we did 2 years ago.
There's actually going to
Ahead
be
of the curve.
two.
That's the style that's coming back.
The main one is going to be called British Pills. It's a cask-conditioned ale-style lager.
Hey.
That is
Cold ESB. Let's go.
Yeah. So that's the British Pills will be the next.
I'm gonna go with.
After that, though, I have two.
Okay, sorry.
It's gonna be Grand Noble Pills. They're gonna be double dry hop pills with noble hops.
Already
been
come and gone already.
No, that's not happening. Sorry, Chris.
No, they're both happening.
I'm gonna, in as many unlimited dimensions as there are, hot lager. It's it's a lager made with Kvike yeast, but at ale temperatures. So it's the same as my new style. It's a different style.
Conditioned.
So
it's the different. It's hot conditioned.
I think I saw
it's kept warm for months on end on shelves
in a warm room, kind
it's
of like
hot
the Belgian
in the cans,
like a Belgian style pills, a Trappist pills.
Yeah.
It's kept in a warm room.
It's the same exact technique as my earlier prediction for cold Kvike, but it's got a different Mario character on it, on the label, so it's a different beer.
Wario.
We love the Mario characters, don't we, folks?
We do. We do.
It's Mega Man.
Are we talking lagers right now?
We're talking lagers.
You know
what is it?
As
What's
much as I've
British Pills is what we're calling.
As much as I've argued
Ale-style lager.
with Doug about this,
Lager
I
style
do think cold IPA is probably the next. It's the next. You know what? And
How about
cold IPA is the next.
that's a pills?
big lager style. And again, okay, not again.
Light lager,
It's an ale though. It's an IPA.
Right.
It's an
So
India Pale Ale.
this is. I have an issue with the style name, but not the liquid. The liquid is good. I think people can approach hoppy beer through the lens of lager fermentations and cleaner grain bills, etc. Something we've been doing at Hopewell, just not to tout ourselves, but
Double dry hopped, right?
Double dry hop. We call ours double dry hop lagers. I think it's a mistake to call them cold IPAs, but generally speaking, I think that is the next wave of lager. Is basically like a way to do hoppy lagers that's exciting for people.
This might be picking nits, but I feel like a cold IPA and a double dry hop lager can be and usually are different to me. Like
Why?
The soul of where it's coming from and
Why?
the result you get to. Why?
Why? I don't know. Like, why is
If
anything?
it's brewed the exact same way,
Well, if they're brewed the exact same way, then yes.
That's
but
the
I'm saying
case.
if someone
They won't be.
if someone says to me double dry
Why?
hop lager, that feels different to me than cold IPA.
That's-
the intention of it and the approach that those names alone bring about in my head as a consumer
so
are
that's
slightly different.
That's the part that I have that I push back against is that you hear lager and you assume a certain sort of approach, and that's
well,
where
the style is all just about setting up expectations and then
Yeah,
either
but, like,
delivering or
we're
subverting
talking-
in a pleasurable way.
there's no BJCP guidelines around double dry hop lagers.
I'm not saying there is. I'm just
so,
saying.
but you
me
have
as a
you have
consumer-
your own connotation. That's not to say that that's what it is, right?
Who are you? Me? You're
I
being
will
very
say-
argumentative about something that isn't
I
really
will
that
say that
important.
I predicted that the quick take hot fire round would end in the longest conversation.
I'm
So
saying both could be
I-
great, but they say different things to me.
Moving on.
But that's interesting to me though. I think that's interesting though. Like dive into like why that says something different to you, and that's to me is like so we brew this style and say our style. I like fundamentally in the glass. If you drink it, what beers we call double dry hop lagers drink the same as a Wayfinder cold IPA, and for us, the interesting aspect is what do we call this style, right?
Mm-hmm.
And for me. And at Hopewell, we think it's important to draw the conclusion that it is a lager. And I think calling it a cold IPA it undermines what it is, right? To me, that's what it does. It says we're giving up the game. We're putting in the IPA camp, and we just given. And I like if we're trying to, for me, like at Hopewell, we thought let's show people what lager can be outside of people's preconceptions, and that's Pilsner, Helles, all these like super traditional, very kind of like straightforward beers. And it's like, that's where I'm kind of like pushing back on is like cold IPA is like a way people, is a style that people come up with that takes away that lager aspect to me. And like, but it's the same beer, but it's just calling it something different. And I think it's really, I think it's a shame that we've kind of ceded that ground to IPA versus lager.
I have no personal dog in this fight. All I was saying is that to me, as a consumer, if I saw those things, they mean different things to me.
Is it that? But I'm not even like pushing back on that. I'm just curious why that is because I think it's interesting. Like from a brewery who makes these styles, like why. When we're making these things, what do we call it, right?
Yeah.
That's interesting to me.
Mm-hmm.
Is like, and for on one aspect, it's like I want people to know that it's a lager because to me that's interesting, right?
Mm-hmm.
To show people that a lager can be like this.
Sure.
But on the other hand, it's like IPA communicates something to somebody,
Yeah.
and
I
but
also
then why not just make an IPA? I don't know.
if we're just talking about this being me personally, I expect some sort of noble hop character at least present, not necessarily dominant, but present in something that's going to be called
I've
lager.
looked into the future, and
So-
we'll continue later because the interest in our listeners is too great.
Sorry.
So
Sorry,
we're going to
folks.
move on to other things. I will never
Hot
say
take
quick
Jake,
fire
that's it.
again on these takes.
You asked for it, Chris.
Okay, so now we're going to get into
Get the cauldron bubble,
some
Serge.
wizardry.
Yeah.
Marketing wizardry, I would say. Okay. What is the next big cross-segment collaboration that is going to happen in the beer world? I'm talking.
All right, so
planners.
it's cold IPA and okay,
and
so-
Double Dry Hop Lager are going to collaborate on a style
It's awesome.
called Double Dry Hop Cold Hot IPA.
I've got
with
so
Cold
many.
Vikings.
I think Marmite and Bass will probably collab
so
on
I
a
was gonna say this.
classic English
apparel.
ale. No.
Apparel. No, I do think apparel could be a next.
No, my real one is Crocs and Sweetwater
Yeah.
terpene IPA.
No, apparel's
said-
going to happen.
you said-
Apparel is going to happen.
You said Marmite.
I said
though,
Marmite,
not
yeah.
Marmot. The
No, not Marmite. Marmite, the English, the British stuff.
Marmite.
I'm
Yeah,
just
yeah.
saying British.
I
beer.
thought that was
Just
more of
joking.
like a Three Floyds Dark Lord variant that just tastes like soy sauce and Marmite.
Yes, it's true.
But
no,
no.
Crocs, and Sweetwater.
100%. That's happening.
is that-
Wonder
is
Bread
it-
Lager, maybe.
Yeah. That's going to be Brooklyn Brewery. That was always a Garrett.
What about
Oliver.
Bass Pro and some light lager?
What about Bass Pro and Bass?
Ooh.
Bass.
Yeah.
No, it has to be Bass Pro Shop, specifically the Memphis location in Pyramid, Hefeweizen. They had that old the Memphis Grizzlies arena, the Pyramid. That's a Bass Pro Shop now. So
That became a Bass Pro Shop?
yeah, it's a Bass Pro Shop.
That's
The biggest Bass Pro
amazing.
shop is in
Welcome to the Biff Tannen
Springfield, Missouri.
timeline. You know,
That's insane. But anyway, yeah, Crocs and
that's pretty
Sweetwater will combine forces to make a terpene IPA. And
is Mario Batali involved? Or is
Probably.
he's been canceled, so probably not.
no, he's in the future. He's uncanceled.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Open-minded future then.
Yeah.
Cool.
Anyone else? The next big cross segment collabo. Okay, nobody can see that future.
I think there's going to
Only I
be
can.
a Smooge Supreme collab.
Ooh,
Smooge Supreme.
Yeah, Smooge Supreme with a J at the end though.
I like it. So it's going to be
comes
Smooge that with a sticker
All the
that says
worst people
Supreme.
you know
Supreme, yeah.
in line. Don't
And
worry
it comes
about
with a pack of Hanes T-shirts.
Okay.
Because I was once in Japan and they literally had Supreme store was selling Hanes T-shirts in bags that they had taken out and put the Supreme logo on and put back into Hanes bags.
Hell yes.
It's amazing.
I don't know if it was a legit Supreme store. Now I'm thinking back on it, but the shirts definitely existed.
That's amazing. So it was literally a shirt that came in a bag that said Supreme.
No,
Oh.
no. It was printed, but it was a Hanes beefy tee that they had printed a Supreme logo.
That's
on.
pretty good.
Yeah,
That's pretty good.
it's like $300.
What's up, Doug? You were about to say something.
Yeah, this isn't my favorite because this is, starting to already be done. But I was looking at some data the other day, and do you know what the number one selling porter in the country is? You don't have to overthink it.
Breckenridge Vanilla
the-
Porter.
No, Deschutes.
It's Deschutes. But number two surprised me because I think it's only out for a month or two a year.
Eddie
The number
Fitz?
two, it's obviously a gigantic brewery, but is the Yingling Hershey collaboration.
Yeah.
And so that people go, I'm from Pennsylvania, Chris, you are too, both those brands. It made total sense like that. I'm no Yingling, apologist, but that when you saw that, you're like, oh, that's perfect. And then we saw the Hop Butcher do the Frango Mince one here. And now I think, every city is known for a couple of these companies. They could be small, they could be like Hershey that's nationwide, or they could be like the city's version of this. It could be in Pittsburgh, we have a chocolate covered pretzels company. So I think they're going to want to pair up with a good Pittsburgh brewery and make a beer with their chocolate covered pretzel. I think that equivalent of whatever city's thing, like Frango Mints, that they're known for, all of them are going to become beers within a year.
So there's going to be a peanut butter crimpet cask ale from Philadelphia at Forest and Maine. They're going to do
you're
a
lucky.
Probably not Forest and Maine.
peanut
but-
butter crimpet. Why are you harsh on my mellow?
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to do that. I apologize. Yes, definitely Forest and Maine.
I was going to be doing a peanut butter crimpet
Yeah.
ordinary bitter.
I mean, this
Or
is
mild.
This has happened. I wonder if it's like just more cities during the pandemic. But Pipeworks did a couple sandwich collaborations, just with like local like favorite sandwiches. I could see
Mayonnaise, right?
Manny's, and they did an Italian Pilsner with JP Graziano.
Yeah. I was going specific chocolate.
Yeah,
But, so
I could see,
but, yeah.
or like a Cisco and saltwater taffy, like that kind of Cape Cod thing. That'd be cool.
Well, you did. You
Ghost.
all did a collab with Jeff and Jude's with rye bread.
Yeah, we use their bread and their sourdough starter.
Yeah,
There's
that-
some yeast up in there.
That's really cool. I think that's a more one of the more interesting ways to do that. It's going to result in a beer that people will want to drink.
Yeah, it came out great.
Yeah. Can
I'll bring you some.
Can I get a bottle of that?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Appreciate it.
Any takes for the Three-Eyed Take?
Oh no, I think
Your third eye's kind of
what
shutting.
What are we talking about here?
Exactly. No, we can move on. That's fine.
I do have. It's not a specific take, but this is something that I hope happens. Is that Pipeworks had opportunities presented for a few of these things, and every single one of those brands wanted to make an IPA, whether or not it made sense for what the thing they made was or not. I think what we're seeing, what I see in the future, is that brands will be more interested in making a beer that actually aligns with what they make than just it being an IPA with their brand on it.
Wait, say that again.
So like
what?
the Mr. Peanut beer, that was an example. That was an IPA. There was an Mr. IPA nut. That makes no sense. To make a peanut IPA, you're making something that looks that they got to control the brand of the way the can looked. But the liquid didn't make sense flavor wise. Morton Salt had a collaboration, but they also made an IPA. Like, just because that's the Ascendant style that people know. Hopefully these things, like Doug was talking about, are more aligned with the product that the place actually makes.
I think you're absolutely right. Hopefully it is that. But here's the thing. I can look into the future and see if that will happen. Let me look. Hold on. Nope, that won't happen at all. They're all still going to be IPAs with whatever they're doing. They're also doing IPAs, but with whatever they do.
I want to push back a little bit. I don't think that it's like these collabs are going to happen. I think what's going to happen is the collabs are going to. We're finally going to realize, like, it doesn't have to
in the back.
have to be around like
Ron Burgundy out there.
You don't have to like actually like peanut IPA because I'm doing something with planters. It's literally just going to be like I'm collabing with a cool apparel brand, and they're going to design the label, and that's cool. And doesn't have any kind of connection to the liquid itself. That's kind of, I think, where beer collabs go. Oh, hey, Mike, hey, what's up?
In and out.
This is where the restrooms are.
Yeah, right.
Hey, what's up? Anyway,
So I could piggyback on that from personal experience. Something I worked on all of last year that was a lot of fun was at Revolution, we now have a collaboration with the Chicago Fire. They wanted to create a beer with us. They liked how we have a passionate fan base, and we liked how a lot of us at Rev are big soccer fans and loved the idea of teaming up with an MLS team. So we decided to make a co-branded beer where we had discussions with them, laid out the options for what we could make. So we gave them say, but they're not brewers. They're not trying to like nitpick a recipe or anything like that. But it was fun. And we were, they could have gotten, a bigger partnership from a giant national brewery, but they decided they wanted to do something very Chicago because they moved their team from the suburbs to the city. They wanted to be Chicago, so they wanted to pair up with a Chicago brewery. I was going to say I could see more. MLS is perfect because soccer's got so much more room to run. Maybe like NHL in some markets where, NHL tickets don't just sell out every game. I could see sports teams not taking the biggest paycheck they could get, but going with the most feverish following and not making it so much about the money, but being about combining fan bases and saying, hey, we think what you do is cool. After discussions, you think, our NHL team is cool, our MLS team is cool, and pairing up and working together on bringing your fans out to soccer games and the soccer team doing everything they can to get people interested in trying your beer. And that's something we're doing with the team here, and it's been great so far. And I could see that being a thing. And there hasn't been a lot of this we've done. There has been some, but it's been like the giant brands, like the Budweiser owned brands getting a sports team's name on the label. This took the team realizing the importance of local to be able to do what we pulled off. I could see more of that.
Sorry to interject, but how did you approach this when they came to you? The concept, how did you approach the beer you ended up making? And you can talk more about it, but it ended up being a hazy pale. How was that process for you? I'd be curious to hear Revolution's process with Chicago Fire and that process.
Sure. Yeah. The immediate thought when we first started talking about it was like, because we always talk about how can we find a way to get more lagers into our mix. And so it was like, oh, soccer, it's got to be a lager. Is it a European lager? Or is it more like a Mexican lager where so much of the soccer community here is Latino? So do we go that direction? Then it was like, but we're trying to bring our beer to a new audience as well. And then it was like, we are, like it or not, an IPA brewery. 70, 80% of our sales are IPAs. We make a lot of lagers, and our seasonals are all different kind of styles. But in terms of volume, we sell a lot of IPAs, and we want to also introduce people to what we're most known for and best for. So Hazy Hero has become like the best-selling hazy IPA in the state, and so we were like, this made sense so we kind of created a third option. So we had this like some kind of European-inspired lager, a Mexican-style lager, and then we were like, our brewmaster, has always had this hazy pale ale recipe in his head. And I always told him, like, I just don't know where that goes right now. We don't have a home to make a cool story out of this. And so when this came up, that became like the third option that I thought all along was the dark horse. And then as we presented those three options to the team, everybody we talked to was like, well, we know you for Anti-Hero. We like you, we like the hoppy stuff. And the more we thought about it, it didn't make sense to go lager with this. We do and will continue to find ways to make lagers, but we thought it would have been a miss to not go with what we're most known for and find a way. Like we talked about session trends. We were like, we were doing so well with Hazy Hero. It's like saving us in a way right now. Like, how do we double down on this? Let's make a lower gravity hazy beer and make the flavors from the hops as different as we can from our other, 7.3% hazy Hero. Let's bring it way down to something you could have a couple of during a game. And that's kind of a short/long answer if I got there.
Here's something I also could see as a collabo is the double ironic collaboration where you have like the Bass Pro Shop collaborating with like Other Half or someone where both sides are enjoying it ironically but also kind of like it. Where it's kind of reaching into new market segments.
I feel like we're almost post-irony in beer, right? Where that's now genuine, right?
Sure. I'm just saying. I could see it being that way now, too, where it's like each side, but it could be a nice way to like kind of come together. Like, I'm earnest about this half and ironic about that half, but the other side is earnest about this half and ironic about the other half.
Just a match made in heaven.
Exactly. I've seen it, so it shall happen. So we're running out of time. The portals are closing.
Yeah, it's getting hazy.
It's getting hazy.
Dusty in here.
It's getting dusty. Well, you can see the best one. It's dusty.
That's true.
Yeah.
Got dust vision.
You've got dust vision. Strange Mike over here.
Doctor, MD, please.
Strange Mike, MD.
I didn't go to 7 years of strange medical school just to go to Strange Mike.
It's true. So I think there's time for a grab bag for just just throw out what do you got? Look into your crystal ball and tell me, give me a prediction, okay?
Give me something.
Anything.
Help me close this thing out, jeez.
This
God.
episode sucks.
Wait, no, I have one more. Hold on. There's one that I missed. Hold on.
Yeah,
I missed one.
Sound effects.
We've got one more.
Serge, I need that
I want to do.
Come on, give me that.
Which current trend will die off first? What trend?
Are we doing lightning round
Just
shit?
open-ended.
Yeah, we're doing lightning round now. Go for it, Jake. Not like last lightning round, an actual lightning round.
This is so hard.
Come
Go
on,
ahead.
do it. Oh,
The
man.
IPA's over.
The third
No one
eye
makes-
has been poked, apparently.
As this show is known for saying, IPAs are dead. No one makes IPAs anymore.
over,
the
man.
IPA is
It's
over.
over, man.
I'm just kidding. I don't know.
Okay.
I
well,
think that people will.
I got one.
cold IPA, I think, is the first to die. I think it's,
no,
it won't.
they're good. Like dinosaurs became birds, and birds don't exist. They're going to become double dry hopped IPA lagers. As we talked about in the last segment.
Yeah. Dinosaurs became birds, and birds don't exist. That'll be I hope we can get that as a soundbite.
Birds don't exist. They're systematically. No, we don't have to
Yeah,
go
okay.
into this.
So, cold IPA will be the next fad to go.
I have predictions, but it's not around that.
They didn't wait for grab bag. Potpourri.
You teased it.
What's up?
So I think this one will begin, or I should say, I know this one will begin to happen next year, and then this will take a few years to fully flush its way out. But we're going to find that between the occasion for non-alcoholic beer and where, let's say, pale ale lies in terms of amount of alcohol, we're going to find that there's really no need left for the session IPA and the low-cal IPA. And I think beginning this year and into the next few years, all of those are just going to go away. And we're going to be left with a very strong NA category and then back to where we started with pale ale and on up.
So no beers between 0 and 5%. Is that where you
In the IPA category. I mean, there'll still be milds and,
Well, it's the most ascendant style. Is
Exactly.
The English pale ale. Yeah.
Exactly. I mean, there was a variant of the future that I saw where BCS turned to British Cask Stout, and it just completely pivoted.
It's just a 3.2
with the
surf
times.
stout like the.
With the times, it pivoted and finally became contemporary
Makes
and
sense.
in the know.
Makes a lot of sense.
And became a series of limited release low alcohol cask stouts. Which will happen either
How
next
do
year or the one after.
How do we get to that timeline? That would
Yeah.
rock.
Yeah. Well, it's happening. It's happening. It all depends on. It's all really in the hands of Marty McFly.
No,
Frankly.
that's not great for
Yeah.
us.
So we've got now.
What was your?
What is the next big? What?
Did you have one?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I went.
I wasn't.
Cold
paying attention,
IPA
I
is
guess.
dead.
Oh,
It's
right.
done.
I thought you were just.
That
like,
is a
using-
doornail,
I
man.
thought that was just a thing. we
Done.
also-
It's just getting started.
No, they're
Yeah.
just double dry hopped lagers now.
I mean, what do you want to do next? What's the next big trend in beer? I'll go first. Sub 3% malt driven ales on cask.
Maybe in the beer time.
Yeah, at the beer table.
Oh well. In that case, bottle conditioned saison. I know a brewery that's 100% doing it. Big
All right.
trend.
I got
70
a
years
legit prediction here. Yes, thank you. Man, this is
Lost your train of
vibey
Vibes,
background
man.
music.
This is the
Okay,
vibey pot.
so
Let your third eye stretch.
this is something.
wide
Okay,
open.
so costs of goods are going up across the board. All breweries are dealing with this. The bigger breweries, they can absorb those costs.
No, they can't.
Well, they can absorb those costs in a way that is a little bit pushed down the line. So maybe not. That's great. I would love to hear that. I love to hear
Not
that.
right now. You don't want to hear it. Go
I
on
love
with
to
your
hear that
prediction.
Rev can't absorb the cost and they have
Go.
to increase prices.
Oh, yeah.
Hopewell, I can only speak for ourselves, but, increase cost of goods, we have to increase our prices. And I think this is something that a lot of breweries are going to have to deal with. And the smaller breweries who aren't contracted out on hops as far out, who rely on spot buying on hops for IPAs and things like that, they're going to be looking towards varieties of hops that aren't as hot, right? Things that cost less to keep that cost of goods down.
Willamette,
Willamette.
KG,
Nugget.
All that shit.
Summit.
Sorry,
Bravo.
Serge, you're gonna have to bleep that one out.
Willamette exists still?
Yeah.
So my point is that with the increased cost of goods across the board, there's going to be a little bit more interest in finding hops that aren't as hype and are a little bit less, just like cheaper. And then we're going to be driving those, but the cost to the consumer is going to be the same, but just like trying to drive down. So we're going to see a little bit more of an interest in less hype hops. We're going to find new hype hops, basically.
Summit, baby. Bring it back. Bring back
I know it's
Summit.
the lightning round probably, and I'm interrupted, but so how do you?
Come on.
What's the marketing?
We don't have
built
much
around
time.
those? The breweries that built a lot of their marketing around.
We went through all the hops and we found the best hops that no one knows about.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
That's what it is. That's all it is.
Or
That
it'll be
doesn't-
like,
but that doesn't play.
These are the
does
beers that
play.
brought
Doesn't
us up
play.
on
It does
beer.
play if you're
and-
if you're a brewery that people know or care about with hops.
Yeah, but then there's another place that's making their Citrus Simcoe Mosaic IPA, and you're like, I know I like those.
No, I'm saying that breweries are going to have to pivot from. This is my prediction.
I think you
Breweries
got.
are gonna-
I think he's got a decent take here.
Breweries are going to have to pivot from only going with those hops because they're going to have to find a way to. Okay, like if you want to hit, like at some point you're going to be worried about hitting a like $18 4-pack, right? And if you need to go with a cheaper hop, you're going to find ways to communicate. Like you're going to find a way to make that interesting to people, right?
All right. Perfect. Well done. We have one final take that I need from all of you. It's your boldest, most out there take that we haven't yet talked about. One final take that I need you guys to come up with that you haven't yet predicted. There you go. Nostradouglas is stretching. Oh my God, he's going into a trance.
He's turning green.
He's turning green. The whites
His
of his
shirt's
eyes are
ripping. He's
showing.
getting
Oh my
huge.
gosh. He's completely jacked right now.
He's so jacked.
He's totally yoked. And
Totally yoked.
totally yoked.
But
And
not angry, just
Serge,
in a
sitting
predicty
there,
way.
very contemplative. And
Yeah, he's full lotus. He's actually floating
Serge hit the
a
music.
foot and a half up.
Yeah.
So there was a narrative for a while that was very true, which was that these sleek cans used by these hard seltzer companies were unavailable to craft breweries because it was true, because volume projections were never-ending growth for these hard seltzers. So craft breweries wanting to have this sleeker, taller, slimmer can for their 12-ounce cans.
Healthier can.
It was just not even an option. They had to get in line and wait years for availability. Well, that changed. And now capacity for these slim cans is now off the charts. A little birdie has told me that these are not only available, but they are aggressively looking for homes, these canning companies, for these slim cans like you see White Claw in. Look for craft breweries to find ways to utilize these, and all of a sudden see these tall, slim cans in the hands of craft beer fans around the country.
perfect for a British ale.
I'm going to piggyback British, an electrolyte British ale in a tall, slim can. Actually, I was going to say electrolyte IPA in a slim can. It's coming.
Oh,
it's coming.
that
it's
makes
coming.
sense.
It's
Almost as
coming.
much sense as a mild or
George
ordinary
Washington.
bitter. What do you think about a dry hopped IPA? I think a dry hopped
great.
IPA with a Hefeweizen yeast will be a thing that breweries do
That's already happened.
in the future.
That's
But it's going to
kind
of
of my summer IPA.
be no. It's
Kind of.
you said a weeded, didn't you? You said a wheat IPA.
Chris, that's already
That's
happened,
a-
man. That's already.
No, but it's not a thing. It's going to be a thing. A thing.
Nailed it.
The thing.
Really got it.
It's going to be. What's it called? Crystal
Crystal Haas.
Crystal Haas.
Crystal Hazen.
Crystal Hasen.
Yeah.
It's going to be the true Crystal Hasen. But the hazy Hasen.
It's just
Okay.
the same prediction as your first prediction.
Hazy Weizen.
What?
New England Weizen.
This is all.
So that's going to happen.
Nailed it.
Nailed it.
Got it again.
Yep. Yet again. Hey, future don't lie. My third eye sees all.
Future
Obichris
balls don't lie in
Quinnobi.
this future.
At it again. At it again, you know. Showing why I've earned that name. We're having
You
a
gave yourself today.
we're having some sort of a health issue with Is there a doctor in the house? You have to you have to help yourself.
Yeah, that can work out.
Any strange medicine that you can do?
I don't know.
What else? Anyone else? Any other final predictions? Doctor Strange, Mike.
I don't know. I'm all predicted out, I think. I don't see any more of the future. My eyes have been closed. I'm out of dust.
There's too much dust. There is. Your eyes are caked with dust.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
I caked all the dust in my eyes trying to see, and it's really backfired.
Oh, my gosh. Yeah, it was
You
weird
still
how
there?
you were just packing your eyes with dust.
Yeah. The entire time, just packing it
packing
in there.
it in.
Now, I went too hard, too fast.
There's no dust in the future then. You didn't predict any dust in the future.
There's a half full growlers of cenotaph that I've got, but
because they're coming back.
Yep, all coming together now. That's my prediction. Half full growlers of cenotaph on shelves near you.
I understand now. Now I see.
Yeah.
Now I see.
You were blind, but now you see.
Now I see.
Yeah.
Oh my
You're
God.
welcome.
I've been a fool.
Yeah. In many ways.
The Three-Eyed Take Jake.
My prediction is I will drink many beers.
Okay.
And they all be good.
All right.
All of them will be good.
All of them will be good.
I will not drink a bad beer in 2022. And if I do, you can hold me to it, and I will buy you a case of his was will be saison.
There you go.
Money.
There you go. That's on me. You can refer to this.
Yeah.
You can find him at hottakejake@gmail.linknet.
LinkNet. No, it's GeoCities.
Hit me on my GeoCities.
Yeah, hit me up on the GeoCities.
That's coming
We're
back
vibing.
big time.
We're vibing, dude. We're vibing on GeoCities. Hit me up.
All right. Well, thank you guys. It's hard to get a lot of fortune tellers in one room together. I would love to hear from you guys about as they come true. Prove to everyone else how correct I was.
Send us your predictions.
I
maybe?
predict that you'll be sending us letters, for example, to 3173 North Elston Avenue. That's the Beer Temple's address.
I predict that might be in the show notes.
It will be in the. It will most likely be in the show notes.
There's a 70-30 chance.
80% of the time recently, it's been in the show notes, and but you can also email us at insiders@craftbeertemple.com.
You almost said net.
Yeah, .net.com.
Earthlink.
And, so I guess this is the end. You'll never listen to the show again. You don't need to. You know the future. But for those of you who don't want to be redundant, we will be back next week. And I think we've got an Insiders Roundtable next week, actually.
All right.
It's going to be a good time. So thank you to my guests, the Third-Eyed Take Jake, in classic Beer Temple podcast form on his phone during the show. I love that he has a nod to tradition from Jake.
To be fair to him, you were closing it out. So
it's a nod to tradition.
I think he was tweeting about the show.
Yeah. And I also want to thank Nostradouglas. I want to thank Serge.
I can't believe you guys got to hear his voice for the first time.
Yeah.
Incredible.
And this is Obichris Quinnobi signing off. May the force be with you.
Remember this is what we wanted. Remember this is what we said. To never be heard or seen from again. Remember this is what we wanted. Remember this is what we said. To never be heard or seen from again. Remember this is what we wanted.